Let's start with the dual energy blasters. These were supposed to be futuristic, sci-fi guns that shot beams of energy with high rate of fire but low damage per shot. The idea was to create a weapon that was satisfying in close range fights but still weak enough to not completely break the meta. During a roadmap leak in Chapter 3, and for weeks, content creators were speculating about how they would shake up Fortnite's gunplay. But again, the weapon never dropped. Apparently, Epic ran into issues with the visuals and sound effects. Energy weapons are often tricky to make feel weighty in a game like Fortnite where audio cues are so important. Then there was the Grapple Cannon MK2. Fans have wanted a better version of the grappler since the first one was released. Concept videos showed it being able to attach to walls, pull players closer, or even launch someone into the sky like a mini rocket. It sounded perfect for high-skilled players who wanted new mobility options. The community was hyped, videos were made, memes were created, and every stream discussed it. But months passed and the weapon never came. Apparently, Epic decided it might break competitive balance, giving certain players too much map control and making endgame fights unfair. Another weapon that haunted players' streams was the freeze gun. Concept art suggested it could temporarily immobilize structures or players, similar to the effect of a snowball launcher, but on steroids. Imagine freezing an opponent in place during build battles. Insane, right? Streamers kept asking for it, Epic kept teasing it in concept posts, and the subreddit was filled with fan-made animations, but it never saw the light of the day. Reports suggested that testing revealed major issues with server lag and it hit registration. Freezing a structure or a player in real time is surprisingly difficult to pull off in a fast-paced, cross-platform game like Fortnite. And then there's the Tesla launcher, probably one of the most ridiculous and overpowered concepts teased. The idea was basically a rocket launcher, but instead of explosions, it would fire a chain of electricity that bounced between players and metal structures. Imagine zapping multiple opponents at once. It could have been insane for chaos-filled playgrounds and LTMs. Fans were obsessed. They speculated endlessly about combos, whether it could hit players mid-build, and how it would interact with vehicles, but never released. Epic reportedly thought it was just too fun to be fair and didn't want to break ranked play, so it stayed in the vault. By Chapter 5, the community had learned that leaks and concepts don't always become reality. Still, Epic teased some wild stuff. Weapons like the cryo rifle, which would freeze players on contact, or the magnet gun, which could attract or repel builds and players. Fans imagined using these in creative maps or competitive matches, but none ever dropped. The tech just wasn't ready, and surprisingly Epic even tested a teleportation gun internally, a gun that would teleport whoever it hit a few meters in a random direction. Testing proved it was way too unpredictable and it was quietly cancelled. Now we're in Chapter 6, and Epic has teased more weapons than ever. One of the biggest is the energy sword, which would work like a lightsaber style melee weapon but with a dash mechanic. Concept art and cinematic footage exist and fans went absolutely insane over it. There's also the plasma minigun, a rapid fire energy weapon that would destroy builds faster than anything in the game today. Of course, there were tons of other weapons teased over the years like the shockwave shotgun, capable of knocking multiple players in all directions without needing a headshot, the gravity grenade launcher which would pull players and structures towards the blast center, and across all chapters there's a pattern. Epic experiments with crazy ideas, teases them and sometimes cancels them for technical reasons, balance or competitive fairness, and the Fortnite community obsesses over every leak, creating videos, memes and discussions about how these weapons could have changed the game, either in a good way or in a bad way. Some fans even make custom creative versions to simulate them, keeping the hype alive. All of these weapons were hyped heavily by leaks, concept art and community speculation, but for various reasons they never made it into the game. And every time a new season drops, fans are reminded that Fortnite's promised weapons list is still a thing, with endless what-if discussions on Reddit, YouTube, and Discord. It's fascinating because these weapons tell us a lot about Fortnite's development philosophy. Epic clearly experiments with crazy ideas and the community hype often drives testing and feedback, but it also shows just how hard it is to balance an 8-year-old service game that's played casually, competitively, and across multiple platforms. One overpowered weapon could ruin the endgame for competitive competitive players or create chaos in casual play, so it's no surprise some weapons never drop. But that doesn't make fans any less disappointed. So are these weapons gone forever? Maybe, maybe not. Epic has teased in developer updates that some old concepts could be revisited in future seasons, but for now, all we have are the art concepts, leaks, and our imagination. Fortnite weapons we were promised but never got are a reminder of how ambitious Epic can be, and how sometimes ambition ruins into the limits of game design. And honestly, that's part of what keeps the Fortnite community obsessed. Every new leak sparks hope. Maybe this season, maybe the next update, one of these mythical, overpowered, crazy weapons will finally appear, and until then, we're left imagining what could have been and dreaming about the chaos that never arrived.